if you're driving, the analogy is you're driving a car and you're in the car by yourself, it doesn't matter if you make U-turns and cut through gas stations to take a right and stuff like that. But if you are the lead car in a caravan or 7 or 8 cars, then all of a sudden, every time you make a U-turn, I mean, that is just like dangerous for everybody, right?
Totally.
So I guess in a way, being a little bit more thoughtful, right? Knowing that if you are changing your mind all the time, reacting on emotion, you're making all these decisions that people have to guess why you made, that is going to have like ripple effects.
Yeah.
And it's just messy work.
Yeah. So, there's some people that pride themselves on the shoot first, ask questions later kind of philosophy of doing work. That works up until you get to be a director. Then it does not work in any kind of or normal organization. It doesn't work because you're not being thoughtful. There's not a consistency. It causes a lot of issues.
Yeah, and the impact that you're going to make as a director, you need to think of it in terms of a fraction, right? But you have a numerator and a denominator. The amount of impact that you can make is not you, but it's across the 15 people you work with. And one thing I heard last week, what I thought was very deep, was from a managing director at a consulting firm, and he said, if as a director, are you willing to be evaluated entirely by your team's performance? In other words, if your pay bonus, your promotion, your reputation, all of that was only based not on you, take you out, and just your team, would you be scared, proud, excited to see how that would turn out? And sadly, I think a lot of people would say, wow, that really frightens me.
Yeah, totally. So we're getting close on time, so we have enough time for one more analogy.
Okay, do it.
All right, so I'm going to give a personal analogy. So I used to tell people, so I've got 3 kids, and with every kiddo, our world changed. It wasn't quite the same. It's not like, 1 kid, 3 kid, 8 kids, it's the same. It's actually not. It's just kind of like manager, director, VP. It's different. So having the first kid was like whoa, this is really crazy. It's not just us.
Right.
We've got other people, a person we've got to kind of deal with and learn how to do.
I should fund my 401k, right?
Kind of like being a manager for the first time.
Yeah.
It's not just me anymore. I got to be thinking about these other people that are looking to me.
Makes sense.
When we went from 1 kiddo to 2 kiddos, what I'd always tell people is our mobility dropped like a rock. So when you have 1 kiddo, you can go to the baseball game, you can go out to dinner, you just grab them, throw them on your lap, and you go. You're flying somewhere, and they're little. You don't even have to buy a ticket. They just sit in your lap. Maybe you do now, but back then you didn't have to. But when you have 2, it's not so easy to just go someplace. You've got to slow down.
Yeah.
You've got to think about, how do I manage this group? I'm outnumbered if it's just me and 2 of them, right?
Logistic, yeah.
And then going from 2 to 3 would be kind of the equivalent of going from director to VP. It's all scale. So now minivan has to happen.
Yeah.
You need a third row seat. You have to do that because you can't. Sedans don't work when you've got 3 kids and 3 car seats. You can't fit 3 in 1 row.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to hit a button and just say, get in the van. And that's more like a VP. So I think it ties into this analogy director well, that you have to learn how to slow down. You got to walk in the parking lot together, not just run ahead and say, well, kiddos, just fend for yourself. It's a lot of that slowing down, teaching, and maybe even aligning too.
Yeah, I think that probably if directors out there would have the amount of patience and grace with their direct reports as they have with their most troublesome child, I mean, corporate America would look and feel a lot better, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard. I mean, it's hard because, one, I think there's a little bit of insecurity there. Like, nobody wants to be embarrassed or do poorly. And I think, like you said, a lot of times parents, and this is true when you see it in, a lot of parents think they're doing a great job by just covering up for their children, right? Which is not always great either. Right?
Yeah.
So but I mean, I guess it's like tough love, but that has like equal parts love and equal parts tough.
Yeah.
Right. Not too much of the other. Right?
I had a client a couple of years ago, and they said, we love him. He's great. His region's the highest performing region in our entire business.
Yeah.
But we actually think he's covering up for his team. We actually think his team's weaker than it shows, and he's running around doing a lot of stuff for them.
I know a lot of people that look just like that.
To make that region look great. And if we yank him out, because we want to pull him out and put him in corporate, but we think his region's going to just crash and burn if we pull him out.